Do you see this guy? This is Alex. Alex is one of my closest friends. And this is the story, how we went from this to this.
Yes, welcome on Zuechel.tv. And yes, so I know Alex now for a really long time, you know? And first, when we met, we smoked weed together and we got together into the world of psychedelics. But then I got saved. After I got saved, I talked a lot with him about Jesus because I was like the only Christian around him. At one evening, I even could use a room from a youth group. And my plan was to gather there all my friends and just tell them about Jesus. And Alex was one of my friends that came. And you know, at that evening he even got so touched that he gave his life to Jesus. And this was like a really beautiful moment. But even after that moment, he still was taking drugs. And you know, then some months later, Alex took at the festival some psychedelic shrooms. And after he took the shrooms, he came at the next day to me and said to me, Timon, I don't want to have anything to do with this Christian stuff anymore. I personally responded very quick and just looked Alex in the eyes and said to him, Alex, this is just because you've taken the shrooms at the weekend. And then at this moment he got so mad and he just screamed at me like, no, that's not because of the shrooms, that's because of your religion, da, 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 da. And he was getting really angry, and I was just like in my mind, oh man, maybe I shouldn't say that now he's really angry at me, I didn't want that. But you know what, I personally didn't know that at that weekend when Alex has taken the shrooms, he had a really big bad trip. And at this trip he even say to God, God, if you can take me out of this, I will give you my life. But I didn't know this at this moment. Alex told me this now before a week or something. And at that moment I just thought to myself, I know, I remember it like it was yesterday, I just say to God, God, why am I always so quick to speak? I didn't want to make him angry. Now we have this bad situation and stuff like this. And I really had guilt because I didn't want to make him angry. So, I mean, now, what will you do? You have a really good friend, and this friend, he goes nearer and nearer to Jesus. And then he even prays with you the prayer. But 1 or 2 or 3 months later, he comes to you and says to you, I don't want anything to do with your religion. What do you do then? I mean, I just started praying and I just asked the Lord what I should do. And the Lord just always said to me, Timon, just pray for Alex. It's everything you have to do. And I personally did this for, I think, a half of a year or something. And I remember that at this time I met Alex at 1-2 times, but not that much. But I always prayed like, God, come on, let me see Alex. He would be so ready, I know it, because I prayed for it. But the Lord was always, no, Timon, don't meet him, just pray for him. So I didn't saw him that much. And then, a half year later, I wanted to go at the party to pray for some people. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, come on, maybe I just go call Alex, maybe he wants to come with me. So I took out my phone and I called him. And I just told him that I want to go to a party because I want to pray for people and stuff like this. And Alex's response was the whole time like, yes, that's so good, because that's Jesus. And I was like, wait, what? And then I've told him some stories of people who got saved or who got healed. And he was always like, yes, that's Jesus, that's so good. And I just thought to myself like, wait, Alex, wait, you? What's wrong with you? What happened? And then I asked him and said, Alex, what happened? And you know, so I know that I was like the only Christian, as I thought I was the only Christian in his area. And for me it was like really a shock, because I never talked with him about this, and he now is like, oh yes, Jesus and everything. So I asked him what happened in this half year. And what happened in that half year, he will tell you right now.
So at the day when Timon called me, I told him about the dreams I had. I had 2 dreams, but I just only talk about one because I don't really remember the other one. So the first dream I had was like 3 weeks before he talked to me. He called me And this dream was just like a start of a big change in my life. So I do not remember a lot of details of the dream, but I do know the essential parts. And so in the dream I had, I was in a bathroom, in my own bathroom, and I was just looking in the mirror and I had completely red eyes and no pupils. And I was not only shocked because of the way I looked, I also was shocked because of the darkness which was there, because of the coldness. And it was not a good feeling right there to be on this place. The next scene I remember was that I was in a room. It was like an antique shop. There were paintings, oil paintings and crosses everywhere in this room. I can't remember if I was alone in this room because there could be some other customers. It was like an antique shop. But when I was in this room, I just instantly felt secure. I just felt this warmness and all this love was transmitted from this room. And I just felt the love of God like I never felt before. I just felt blessed from the top to the bottom. And as I walked through this room, I just saw one chain which I never saw before. It was a prayer bed. And I didn't even know this chain at this point. I've never seen one before. So the next weekend I went out with friends and it was deep in the night. We went home to someone and his family was religious, especially his sister, and his sister was still awake. So we ended up talking about God, and so the next weekend I went out with some friends and it was deep in the night, so we went to someone's home and his family also was religious, especially his sister. So we were there and she was still awake, so we just ended up talking about God. And I was talking about my dreams, and when it came to the point I was talking about the chain, she didn't even ask how the chain was looking. She just turned around and pointed to a painting which was there on the wall, and on this painting was the exact same chain, and I don't even remember exactly, but I think it was also the exact same position. The chain was painted on this painting. And she asked me, was it this one? And I was just speechless. I was confused and speechless at the same time. And so that was a moment I was touched by the love and the greatness of God. So that was the start of the change in my life, where Jesus came in my life and just changed it completely. Where I got touched by him and loved by him, and I felt his love. That was one of the greatest moments till now I can remember.
Yeah, that was the story. I'm sorry, first I wanted to film with Alex together, but because of the corona rules and everything, we just stay 2 meters away from another, you know? Like, because respect the government and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to highlight something, you know? After that phone call, I and Alex met together a week later, and we just prayed. And I remember there we were taking together the communion. And when we were taking the communion, Alex just started crying and crying and crying. And he just looked in my eyes and said to me, Timon, do you remember at that day when you say to me it's because of the shrooms? At that day when I was so angry at you, that was the reason, because at that day I had a demon inside of me who came because of the shrooms, and the demon didn't want it to be seen. And the demon started to scream at you so you don't see it. And I was just like, what? Wow, because I personally forgot about this situation a little bit, and also I didn't thought so wide, because, you know, like I told you at the beginning, I just thought it was my fault, but it was really good because I brought light into the darkness. And yes, with that story I just wanted to show you how God can change a life so dramatically, and how you don't always have to go out and have arguments with everybody. You can just pray in your closet for your friends and they will get changed. And right now, at the end, I just want to show you the baptized, because a half year later, or I think a year, I don't know how long it took, but a half or a year later, I finally could baptize Alex, like I showed you in the beginning. And for everybody who wants to see it, now they will play the whole video. Bye bye! Dass du ihn von ganzem Herzen liebst. Oh, Heiliger Geist, ich danke dir einfach, dass wir heute an diesem Tag da sind, nicht wegen uns, sondern wegen dir, Jesus Christus. Und dass der Alex jetzt in deinem heiligen Namen, Jesus, wird sterben, so wie du am Kreuz gestorben bist. Und dass sein Tod dein Tod ist, Jesus. Und dass der Mensch stirbt und du als neuer Mensch hochkommst. Alex, glaubst du von ganzem Herzen daran, dass Jesus für deine Sünden gestorben ist?
Ja. Ja, ich glaube.
Glaubst du, dass er von den Toten auferstanden ist, dass du frei sein kannst?
Ja, ich glaube.
Glaubst du, dass er in dich will reinkommen und dich will befreien von all dieser Schuld?
Ja, ich glaube.
Und dass der Heilige Geist will in dir wohnen gehen?
Ja, ich glaube.
Dann taufe ich dich jetzt auf deinen eigenen Glauben im Namen Jesus Christus. Jesus. Jesus, ich danke dir für den neuen Mann. Ich danke dir, dass der Alte gestorben ist und dass du, Heiliger Geist, jetzt in ihn reinkommst, in deinem heiligen Namen. Heiliger Geist, ich danke dir, dass du jetzt einfach auf dem Alex bist und dass du ihn einfach liebst von ganzem Herzen. Ich danke dir einfach, dass er heute Jesus in deinem heiligen Namen frei geworden ist. Und dass er darf einfach in dir stehen, in deiner Liebe, in deiner Gnade und in deiner Wahrheit. Wow!